Okay, so Photoshop makes it very easy to take a black and white picture and to convert it into, I'm sorry, to take a color picture and convert it into a black and white photograph. Now, what I want to take a look at is as I come over in here, I want to make sure I'm going to be in my Essentials workspace. And again, you can see that there's a lot of different, there's even a photography workspace, which is pretty cool. Um, but you know, the Essentials is okay for right now. Now, what happens is as you come into this workspace, what you'll see is that you'll have a lot of different, the windows will just be will change. Now, of course, you can access any of those windows though, right through um, the window option. I'm gonna put my layers right here. So right here, window, and all of your windows, all of these floating windows are found here. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just find my file and I'm gonna open it. So there's two different ways that we can get files inside of Photoshop. We can go File, Place, and we can place that object in File, Place, or we can go File, Open. Now, I want to open this because you know, I want to work with it as it is. So I'll come File, Open, and then I'm going to come and I'm going to find my JPEG. Um, it just has a long number to it. I'm going to hit Open. And here it is. So here I have this picture right in here. And I'm going to actually open up. I have a couple in here. File, Open, and I'll come on down. I'll find my route to these files. Yeah, we'll open all three. Why not? Okay, now these three images are actually RGB. I thought I had another one, but that's okay. They're all actually all RGB images, and I can tell that because when I come to my channels, I can see that I actually have a red channel, a green channel, and a blue channel. So, you know, if you come on over and turn off any of these channels, this is really how this photograph is made. And sometimes when you look at old photographs, you'll find that one of these channels starts to fade, so the picture can have a cast to it, and sometimes you'll actually see that it has a green cast, a red cast, or a bluish yellowy cast to it. Okay, so I don't need to see my channels window right now, so I could even close this. I don't need to see if you have this path open. I don't need to see that. The one that I really want right now is my layers and my adjustment panel. So I can even, sometimes you have too much stuff floating around, I could even take and get rid of my colors. Okay, so all I need are my layers and my adjustments panel. And I have a masks panel right here too. Okay, so what I'm going to see as I come on into my layers is that when I open up a file in Photoshop, that automatically the layer is locked. Okay, so here's my layers and it's named background. So I could do one of two things. I could duplicate this layer, which is a good idea because then I can continue to see this image, or I can come in and I can just take this lock and drop it in the trash. All right, now what I'm going to do though is I'm going to duplicate this layer because at the very end I want to put these two images next to one another so we can compare how they look. So I come to Layer and I'm going to say Duplicate Layer. I'll say OK, and now I can see that I have this layer and this layer. Okay, now whatever layer is on top in your layer panel is the one that you're going to see. All right, so now I'm going to come and I'm going to make this into a black and white image. And I can do one of two different things. When I come into image and I come to mode, I can see that I have some options here. I could just change this into a grayscale. Now it's going to flatten the image and it's going to get rid of the color. So what happens when I do that is the whole thing's a grayscale. I lost all of that and it's all in one layer. So I don't want to necessarily do that. It gets rid of all of the information because there's actually a lot of other ways that we can do this, and the best way to really do this is to go through my adjustments layer, which is right here. And I can, one of the things about these programs is you can do the same thing 5 different ways. So what I want to do is I'm going to come to adjustments, I'm going to come to black and white. Now what happens when I do this way is I can see that I get the option to, oops, I get the option to alter this image based on the distribution of black and white on the red. So all of the reds in this image, I can say, oh, I want my reds to be a little bit lighter. I come in and say, oh, I want my yellows to be a little bit darker. My greens, blues, okay. And I can come on in here and hit okay. Now when I turn this off, I can see the difference. Actually, what happened here was I really was able to lighten up his face quite a bit. Okay, so I want to show you another way to do this. If I go back, again, it's the same exact thing. Well, actually, it's not the same exact thing because I could come back and do edit, redo. Or what I see happen here is this all happened within this layer. Okay, it all happened right within this layer. Now, for me, it doesn't really matter, right? Because I have this layer and then I have this. But there's a way to do this also through the adjustments window where it looks a little bit different. So let's take a look at this. It's the same, but it's different. So here goes. I'm going to come to my black and white presets, and I'm going to just, this one is black and white, I believe. I just double click this, and now I've created an adjustment layer. And it's the same exact thing, right? I want to lighten him up. But what we see here is this layer is still intact. It just has an adjustment layer over top of it.